بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الوحدة الثانية عشرة، آه، سلسلة تعليم اللغة الإنجليزية، التجارة باللغة الإنجليزية لهيئة الإذاعة البريطانية BBC Courses Language of Business، a Labor Dispute، خلاف عمالي.
Bluetooth mode. Play by USB drive.
Oh, a labour dispute. Mr. Hamden, we've got trouble in the press room this morning. Oh, dear. What's it all about, Ted? One of the press operatives arrived an hour and a half late. But that's a straightforward affair. He simply gets his pay docked. That's why we have a clocking in system. But the point is the man was clocked in at 8 o'clock. Symes, who stands by the time clock, swears he saw nothing irregular. Is Symes reliable? Yes, he is. That's why we chose him for the job. Have you spoken to the man who was late? Not yet. I thought I'd have a word with you first. He's a difficult man, and I think there's some trouble on the shop floor. I've got a feeling that one of the shop stewards is behind it. The foreman told me that Jack Green's been very active around the shop the last few days. Well, what do you want me to do? I was wondering if you'd see Smith, the man who was late, because you're so much better at handling things like this than I am. All right. I'll see him. I must say I agree with you about there being bad feeling in the works. I've had the idea for some time that Jack Green's been busy agitating in connection with the latest wage claim. He's not like the other stewards. He's always trying to make trouble. Well, I'll get the foreman to send Smith up here, and then we'll... Ah, Smith. Come in, will you? Please sit down. I understand your card was punched for 8 o'clock this morning and that you arrived at 9:30. That's right. You mean you knew your card was punched by someone else at 8 o'clock? Yes. I suppose you know we can dismiss you for this. What it amounts to is that you are asking to be paid for services you never gave. No, I'm not asking that. Then I don't understand. I cleaned Mr. Wild's car last night out of work's time. Well, that doesn't affect the issue. I should be paid for it, shouldn't I? But you are paid, surely. When overtime? If I work overtime, I want overtime pay. Time and a half. That's the rule, isn't it? But this is a private arrangement. It has nothing to do with the works. Have you discussed this with Mr. Wiles? There's nothing to discuss. If I work an hour on his car, I take an hour and a half from my day's work. Well, I'm not going to argue about something so absurd. As I see it, you've broken the rule. Naturally, an hour and a half will be subtracted from your pay this week. And I must warn you that if this happens again, it will be a case of dismissal. Just you try dismissing me. You'll have a walkout on your hands. I'm sorry, but those are the rules. If you break them, you must take the consequences. You know that perfectly well. Not going to be...
But Ian, that's ridiculous. Smith never complained to me about it. If he had, I'd have paid him a bit more, or taken the car to the garage. They do a much better job there anyway.
It's possible. The whole thing has been engineered by Jack Green. I've heard that he's going to get the district organizer of the National Workers' Union to negotiate a wage claim.
Oh, not again.
Personally, I feel there should be some system here of profit sharing. If not, we shall go on having little incidents like this one. They're a direct result of ill feeling in the works.
But I can't see HG being enthusiastic about profit sharing. Why don't you bring it up at the management committee meeting this afternoon?
Yes, I think I will. And then I'm going to send for Jack Green. I just had a talk with Symes and found out something very interesting. Now listen to this.
I really don't see much point in this meeting, Mr. Hampton.
As I said to you this morning, we're going to ask the union to press a wage claim. And unless you have some concrete proposals to make about a wage increase, I don't think we have anything to say to each other.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. First of all, I think I've got some information that may interest you. We discussed profit sharing at the management committee meeting today. What do you feel your colleagues will think about that?
They'll think the same as I do. We don't want talk, we want figures.
I think they'll be very interested. I think they'll want to go into details with us when the proposals have been worked out. I think they'll want to cooperate.
Are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that you're using Smith to make unnecessary trouble.
I don't like that accusation, Mr. Hampton.
I don't care whether you like it or not. Smith is not a cooperative man, but he wasn't capable of thinking this out for himself. He told me that if I dismissed him, there'd be a walkout. Who gave him that idea? Did you talk to him?
I did. He told me about this car business.
And the clocking in incident?
I don't follow you.
I suppose you had nothing to do with arranging that Smith's card was punched by someone else. That's an action which is against the works rules, which have been approved by all the trades unions represented on this site.
Of course not.
Then why were you talking to Symes precisely at 8 o'clock this morning? How was it that you got him to turn his back long enough for Smith's ticket to be punched? Look, Jack, I think you'd better drop this one fast. I know you're trying to make a name for yourself, but your own union would disown you for this sort of behavior. This isn't the way to do things. See, Smith, will you, and explain what has happened?
I think your profit-sharing proposals do perhaps alter the situation. Yes, I'll speak to Smith.
Good. Well, we've no more to discuss for the moment, have we? Good night. Say these sentences. He arrived an hour and a half late. The man was clocked in at 8 o'clock. And that will be subtracted from his pay. If this happens again, it will be a case of dismissal. There should be some system of profit sharing. I'll bring it up at the management committee meeting. The union is going to negotiate a wage claim.
AUX mode.